Happy Monday. Apple just randomly announced the AirPods Max 2. No, not these, even though a lot of us have been calling them AirPods Max 2 or AirPods 2nd Gen. There's actually a new update coming. The original AirPods Max launched back in December of 2020. And then obviously there was a refresh a couple of years ago, but basically that was just getting USB-C and some new colors. No real hardware changes though for nearly 6 years. But 6 years later, the AirPods Max 2 are officially available. So let's break down exactly what's changed, what's new, and whether or not it might be worth upgrading from the original model. Now, the headline here is the new chip. The AirPods Max 2 are now powered by Apple's H2 chip, the same chip that's been in the AirPods Pro 2 since 2022. The original AirPods Max used the H1, which was really solid, but the H1 was never going to support a lot of the computational audio features that Apple has been rolling out over the past few years. And if you listen to the Mac Rumor Show podcast, you've heard Hartley and I talk about how ridiculous it is that the AirPods Pro 2 and 3 are infinitely better in terms of features and possibly audio compared to the more expensive AirPods Max. Now, the H2 changes a lot of this, and being implemented into this new model gives you a whole list of new features. So let's talk about those new features. And we'll start with the ANC, because this one is one of the most talked about features on any premium pair of headphones. The original AirPods Max are still very good at noise cancellation. It's competitive with any new Sony and Bose at launch, but over time the competition has been getting better and better, and the H1 chip has a ceiling on what it can do computationally. I'm honestly impressed with how good this still is compared to some other headphones out there, but Apple needed to upgrade these, and we finally get that with the H2. It should deliver just that. The AirPods Max 2 now deliver up to 1.5 times more effective ANC than the previous generation. Apple says this is all thanks to that H2 with new computational audio algorithms. So things like engines in an airplane and commuter trains and anything that has a low frequency drone noise, if you have an HVAC unit that's really noisy, or whatever the case may be, it's going to be drowning that out quite a bit. That's a pretty meaningful jump, and it should bring the Max comfortably back up to the top of the class when it comes to noise cancellation and premium headphones. Transparency mode also gets an improvement. Apple says that they've developed a new digital signal processing algorithm specifically optimized for H2 and the mic array on the Max itself. So transparency should sound even more natural than before. The original was already one of the better implementations out there, in my opinion. I still feel like a lot of newer headphones try to do this, and it's not as good as what Apple can do, but going to be a nice bonus there as well. Now, when it comes to sound quality, the original AirPods Max had and still have a really good reputation for sound quality. 6 years, a bunch of other new headphones out there from Sony and Bose, like I've mentioned, and Apple still is pretty much neck and neck with them. It had a custom-built 40mm dynamic driver. The acoustic design was entirely done in-house, so the baseline of these headphones was really, really good. Now for the Max 2, Apple says they've added a new high dynamic range amplifier, which is designed to deliver even cleaner audio while maintaining that same sound signature that people already love. On the spatial audio side, Apple's claiming improved localization of instruments, more accurate and consistent bass response, and more natural sounding mids and highs. Of course, I'll have to test all of that, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our full review and comparison to the previous generation. They've also reduced wireless audio latency for gaming, so if you're using AirPods Max 2 with game mode on, whether it's your iPhone, your iPad, or your Mac, the experience should feel noticeably more responsive. The H2 chip also brings a ton of other features that have been on other AirPods, but never the Max model, like adaptive audio. This automatically blends ANC and transparency in real time based on your environment. So if you're outside walking around and things are getting louder in certain situations or not, everything's going to adjust on the fly. And that also brings you conversation awareness. So when somebody starts to talk to you, the Max 2 will automatically lower your music volume and reduce background noise so the conversation is easier to, kind of be a part of. Again, this is the first time on the AirPods Max. You also get voice isolation. This uses H2's computational audio to focus on your voice during phone calls and block out ambient noise. If you've ever taken a call with the original Max in a noisy environment, it's probably not going to be nearly as good as what you'll get with the new H2 chip, because that has significantly improved in other AirPods over time. And also live translation, which was just introduced in AirPods with the AirPods Pro 3. You get that all powered by Apple Intelligence, and it requires Apple Intelligence enabled on an iPhone, so you won't get that if you have an iPhone that can't run Apple Intelligence, but this will let you have real-time translated conversations in person across a bunch of supported languages. It's pretty impressive stuff on the AirPods Pro 3, so nice to have on the Max. And there's also personalized volume, which learns your listening preferences over time. You have loud sound reduction, which helps protect your hearing without messing with what you're listening to. And you get Siri interaction, so the head nod and the head shake gestures to respond to Siri privately, which is a handy feature that Pro users have had for quite some time. But if you had a Max, which is significantly more expensive, you haven't had features like that. You also haven't had features like camera remote, so users would now be able to press the digital crown and it'll trigger your iPhone or your iPad camera remotely. You could take a video, you can start or stop video recording, and it works with the built-in camera app and compatible third-party apps. Studio quality audio recording is another one that Apple is talking about. Apple says podcasters and interviewers and singers and other creators can use the AirPods Max 2 to record with higher quality audio and more natural vocal texture. I have a hard time believing that a lot of those professionals would use this for that. Like a podcast, for example, I have a bunch of microphones. I probably won't use these, but if I'm jumping on another podcast or I'm traveling, hopefully the upgrade here with the audio quality and the microphone quality is significant to where if I joined a podcast or if someone's joining a podcast and they have AirPods Max 2, the quality would be much improved so you can use it in a pinch. In terms of the physical design, nothing seems to be really changing here. You're getting the same iconic looking AirPods Max that we've had for 6 years. The canopy, the mesh, the premium aluminum, the heavy weight to it, the adjustable and magnetic ear cups here. I love this design. I know a lot of people have a love-hate to it. The canopy doesn't really hold up well for a lot of people over time. I've never had any issues personally, but I would like for Apple to kind of spice up the look here over the last 6 years. My biggest complaint is the carrying case. I haven't seen anything about it, but I'm guessing it's going to be the same bra-like carrying case that we've had. I absolutely do not like it, but I guess it's grown on me over the time. I haven't really had any other choices besides third-party ones that I don't really enjoy, so I use the bra to carry the AirPods Max. But overall, I do really like the look and feel, but again, I was just kind of hoping Apple would have spiced up and fixed some of the fatal flaws that we've had in years past. But yeah, pricing still starts at $549 in the US. It's the same launch point that we've had and what it's been for years. No price increase, but no price decrease. Orders open up on March 25th, and then availability will begin in early April. Kind of vague there, so who knows when it's actually launching, but you can order it on March 25th. If you have the original AirPods Max, is it worth upgrading to? Well, if you're using the original from 2020 and it's been 6 years, yours is probably falling apart by now. Maybe it isn't, but it's time for an upgrade, and these are major improvements, all thanks to just the internal upgrade with the H2 chip. I would say you'd be happy with an upgrade, but if yours is working perfectly fine and you have no reason to, I guess you can skip it. Of course, I haven't tested the new ones yet, so I don't know how significant the H2 chip really is. I mean, I know how it is on some of the other AirPods models, so just off of that, I can say it's going to be well worth it, but there is some upgrades for the Max specifically that I need to try, and I will be doing a comparison also compared to the original, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. But TLDR, if you have the original, it's probably time for an upgrade. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you're planning on buying any, if you love AirPods Max, if you hate them, let me know down in those comments. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.